Hey folks, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to the video. This is the paid request. This time for John Zero Cool. Thank you so much for that, my friend. And he had a very interesting request. And for those who want to send any other type of request, it could be pretty much anything. Feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal, that's usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. But he said, what are your favorite films from A to Z? Meaning, what's your favorite film that starts with the letter A? What's your favorite film that starts with the letter B? Etc. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting way of doing it. So, and he's like, also, if you could say like maybe one or two things about each film. So, I'll do it this way. A is for Aliens. Will blow you through the back wall of the theater with a great cast, and when James Cameron was worth the shit and not just the Jimmy Cammy bullshit he is today. Aliens speaks for itself. B is for the Blob remake from 1988. An experiment that fucked up. Great stuff by Kevin Dillon, Shawnee Smith, likable cast, smarter than average script, wonderful gory, gooey special effects, and easily one of the best remakes of all time. And absolutely one of the most underrated. Fun creature feature. C is for Cobra. This riddle all stops, and I start. One of the films that showcases why the 80s were awesome. The look, the feel, fast running time, lot of action, badass hero, intimidating villain in Brian Thompson. You got the sunglasses as bad as Coke bottles. You got weapons like the Jedi with the laser scope. You got cutting pizza with scissors. You got great soundtrack. You got horror film slasher feel to it. Classic. D is for Die Hard. Die Hard is one of the most classic action films of all time. Bruce Willis was born to play John McClane. Sorry about what happened to him and his mental faculties. But Die Hard is a film you can see anytime. It's a long movie, but you don't feel it. Hans, Bubby, I'm your white knight. And Alan Rickman, sorely missed. Definitely one of the great villains as Hans Gruber. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. E is for End of Days. When you have Arnold telling Satan to go fuck himself, and shooting his ass with a grenade launcher and blowing his ass up, sounds like a winning deal to me. You want to fuck with me? You're a fucking choir boy to come here to me. You're a choir boy. End of Days, I saw in the theater. It was a great experience. It's a badass movie. One of my favorite Arnold films. It's Arnold kicking the devil's ass. Come on. F is for The Fifth Element. Another film I saw in the theater. Still a wonderful looking movie in today's age. You know how a lot of films in that era, they don't hold up the best? No, with the way Luc Besson had the film it's a visual feast for the eyes. And Bruce Willis, in a way, is kind of played John McClane in the future in a sci-fi element. That's not a bad thing for me. It's a very entertaining tone from Chris Tucker to Ian Holm to Gary Oldman, who's an arms dealer, but he's all, in a way, like, think of a used car salesman, but if he was an arms dealer with some really goofy looking hair. You have some great creature designs. Again, wonderful special effects. It's a great, it holds up well. It's a really good looking movie. A lot of creativity. G is for The Golden Child. My favorite comedy of all time. Love this film to death. Because it's Eddie Murphy. He's the regular guy in an extraordinary situation. I'm a sucker for those fish out of water movies, when done well. As I see Eddie Murphy in a fantasy, supernatural element. That's not Vampire in Brooklyn, because I think that movie sucks ass. No pun intended. And all the things Eddie Murphy says and riff on, it sounds like something I would say. Yeah, I'm gonna paddle his ass when I find him. Go roll your ass till it bleeds. This is a big joint. You lit it and smoked it. I bet you had 2 of these, and you smoked one before you die here. You need to stop smoking scrolls. My sweet brother Numpsay, I just see you're busy right now. Come back another time. Someone give you a Valium? You look really calm. I guess you've done this before. But for me, I'm ready to shit all over myself. Love the score. Love the tone of the film. Easily one of the more underrated comedies to me, and again, my personal favorite comedy. I love The Golden Child. I wish this Blu-ray had features, but it's nice. I do like the presentation of it. So, well, it has features, quote unquote, but not 2 minutes long from back in the day. H is for Hard Target. One of my favorite films of all time. And you got Jean-Claude Van Damme kicking people off motorcycles, shooting people, then roundhouse kicking, then shooting some more, kicking gas cans and shooting people in the face and they explode, dodging arrows. You got Lance Henriksen and Arnold Vosloo as the villains. You got Wilford Brimley kicking ass, shooting arrows into people's necks. My kind of movie. I is for I Come in Peace. One of my favorite buddy cop films. It shows what you could do in such a small budget. Creator Batchley absolutely knew what he was doing. Tons of action. Love the creativity. A drug dealer from outer space, where the drug is the endorphins in the brain. They taste spice to suck out the fluid and get high on his own supply. And Dolph Lundgren shoots the alien by saying, the alien says, I come in peace, and he says, and you go in pieces, asshole. Again, my kind of movie. J is for the 1980 Jacob's Ladder movie. Tim Robbins gives one of his best performances. I think he was robbed of an Oscar nomination. That's how good I think his performance was. It's a film that's psychological horror done right. It was a film that inspired the Silent Hill video games, at least one of the inspirations for those games. You feel Jacob Senior's predicament. You feel his terror. You feel so bad for him. You have some very unsettling visuals. You have an excellent score. It's a very well done movie that still needs to get his just desserts in terms of respect. Did a fucking 4K. Did a new picture quality. They released a Blu-ray somewhere overseas. I forget what company it was, but it was the same picture quality as the Blu-ray from years and years ago. We need a new transfer. We need new features. We need the deleted scenes. We need a fan cut to put the deleted scenes back into the theatrical cut. We need an interview with Tim Robbins. Let's make it happen, for fuck's sake. Jacob Ladd deserves it. K, I put Kiss of the Dragon. Underrated film. Jet Li, my favorite Jet Li film. He goes to France. He kicks everybody's ass. I like Chucky Terrio as the villain. Kiss my ass. And Jet Li kicked a lot of ass. The movie. My kind of movie. I even like the soundtrack. It has some good fights in it. When he fights the two guys at the same time. Wonderful choreography. Very underrated film. L is for Leviathan. Again, one of my personal favorites. I know some people would call it boring, but the reason I like the film, I think it does all the aspects very well. Number one, it has a great cast. Peter Weller, Amanda Pays, Richard Crenna, Hector Elizondo, Ernie Hudson, Daniel Stern. You have a beautiful score by Jerry Goldsmith. You have some really cool makeup effects by Stan Winston. You have great set design by Bill Cobb, who worked on Alien. You have likable characters with fun dialogue. Call me Becky one more time, six-pack. I'm going to pop your tops. All 6 of them. Say, motherfucker. Love the film. Love the movie. Tina Lorber, what the fuck are you doing? Well, you know what? It's not their fault, to be fair. People in Italy who won't give you the product. People in Italy, what the fuck are you doing? If anyone's out there in Italy, go find the Dino De Laurentiis, their camp, and kick the shit out of them for me. No, I'm just kidding. Not really. But people in Italy, what are you doing? You know, it's not your fault either. It's some asshole over there that won't give them the print. M is for Match from Overdrive. How can you hate a film where kids get run over by bulldozers, where people get killed by vending machines with cans right into their head, where people get electrocuted by arcade machines, where there's a truck with a Green Goblin face on it, where Emilio Estevez is shooting machines with bazookas, and we got motherfucking AC/DC on the soundtrack from beginning to the end. From a crazy power up to a Green Goblin semi truck making people go splat and turn to paint, where there used to be a body there, now it's paint. Killer lawnmowers, killer ice cream trucks, my kind of fucking movie. N is for Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. I love Lisa Wilcox's Alice. I can relate to the character because I was a lot like her character when I was in school. It's my favorite Robert Englund Freddy Krueger performance. How sweet. Fresh beat. I think Rennie Harlan brought a lot of energy and creativity to the film. He brought a great style to that movie, which was showcased later in Die Hard 2 and Cliffhanger and Deep Blue Sea and Mindhunters and Long Kiss Goodnight. And her getting ready in front of the mirror is the same music I've used when I put the intro in. I don't do it in every video because I think people get tired of it, but every once in a while I'll put it in there, and that music, it's one of my favorite pieces of music. I love the montage of her getting ready in front of the mirror. Fucking A is what I think of that movie. O is for Out for Justice. Steven Seagal, my favorite Steven Seagal film. I even liked his accent. As over the top as it is, I love his accent. His New York accent. Be the type of accent I would do. But I love it. Who the fuck do you think you are? I just want to say Richie. I want to know why Richie did Bobby Lupo. Hey, yo, fuck nuts. This your truck here? Hey, don't be a bad guy. Be a good guy. It's the Steven Seagal film I can watch and still enjoy. I like William Forsythe as the villain. Steven Seagal gets to kick more ass. He's in a meat shop. He puts a meat cleaver into a guy's hand and it's stuck to the wall. He's blowing guys' legs off. And who the boxer? You the boxer? You tough guy, huh? Really? Beating the shit out of people with cue balls wrapped up in towels, beating the shit, breaking people's teeth out of the damn sockets. When Steven Seagal was worth a shit. Now he's just plain shit. P is for Predator 2. I love the first Predator, but Predator 2 always got the bad rap. I'm going to stick up for it. Danny Glover is a badass motherfucker. The Predator is a badass motherfucker. The cityscape is a great location. Has a fantastic finale. You have people like Bill Paxton, Robert Davi, Ruben Blades. Great cast. You got Teen Willie. You got the Predator having all sort of assortment of new toys. It's a kick-ass movie. It's a roller coaster ride. Underrated film. Q, I put Q the Winged Serpent. Good creature feature film by Larry Cohen. May he rest in peace. Michael Moriarty. David Carradine in my favorite role he's done. Has a good sense of humor. Has some solid, for budget and time, stop motion effects on the creature. Quetzalcoatl. Can't say the fucking name right. Big fucking bird. How about that? And like I said, Larry Cohen knew how to write films to give that certain sense of quirkiness and make the characters more interesting, make the dialogue more interesting than your typical monster movie. R is for Rambo, First Blood Part 2. Murdoch, I'm coming to get you. Take your C4 tipped explosive arrows, shoving them up people's asses, blowing up people, blowing up entire villages, get a gunship, win the Vietnam War. Vietnam Part 2, The Revenge. There you go. That's kind of what it is. We lost Vietnam, here's our revenge. Vietnam, Part 2. Love Rambo First Blood Part 2. To me, it's one of the quintessential action films, in my opinion. S is for see no evil, hear no see no evil, hear no evil, can't speak for shit. But because Richard Pryor and Gene Wilder are such a great team, I don't need to speak. Just watch the film, listen to them speak, because they're a hell of a lot funnier than me. Wonderful team. They work well together. Richard Pryor, I think he's absolutely hilarious. You mean I'm not? You mean I'm not white? It feels like it. Oh, hey sis, you're right. Does Dad know? You curse an awful lot. You fucking ain't right. I wish I could do that. Then fucking change. It's goofy, it's silly, but the team worked well together. And it shows, hey, a blind guy and a deaf guy working together can do anything. And they seem like the film they were the most in the simpatico with. At least to me. One of my favorite comedies. T is for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Both the 1990 and 1991 film. The sequel. I like both of them. I put them in the same coin. They're two sides of the same coin for me. The first one I appreciate is darker aspects. It's serious aspects, although it's still a kid's movie. The second film, I appreciate the character interaction between, and I like the voice acting even more of the Turtles. I like their family moments. And it's goofy, silly, but I think the second film is a fun interpretation of the cartoon. And the first film is a pretty decent interpretation of the comic book. At least what they could do with the PG rating. Love the Jim Henson costumes. For the most part, I like the voice acting, except Corey Feldman. Fuck Corey Feldman. He was always a shitty Donatello. I think he's also a shitty person, but he was always a shitty Donatello. Worst Donatello I've ever heard in my fucking life. I would even take the Michael Bay Donatello voice in those movies over Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman was a good actor. He sucked as an adult actor, and he sucked as Donatello. All the other turtles did a good job, but Corey Feldman sucks these nuts. U is for Uncommon Valor. Anytime I've told people about this film, they would watch it, and they would come back to me and say, you know what, Matt? I saw that film. I teared up at the end. You think it's going to be a typical action movie, but it's got a lot more heart to it than people realize. And it has a hell of a cast. Gene Hackman, Patrick Swayze, Tim Thomerson, Red Brown, Randall Tetz-Cobb, Fred Ward. It has a wonderful cast. It has a great score by James Horner. It does have good action in it. It's people going back to rescue POWs. It's a father trying to find out if his son is dead or alive. It has one of Gene Hackman's most underrated performances. And like I said, people think of it as just a typical dumb action film. If you actually watch the film, it has a lot more heart and soul than people realize, especially by the end of the film. I'll put it that way. V is for Volcano. Great popcorn movie. Some special effects that you hold up very well to this day. A movie that knew what it was. It knows that a volcano in LA is a stupid idea, but it goes for it. It doesn't wink every 5 minutes. But there's a little bit here and there where it ends with, I love LA. We love it. It's like, hey, we hope you had fun with the film. Tommy Lee Jones is great and is natural and charming. Don Cheadle's actually good support. Anne H, may she rest in peace. She actually does a decent job and has some really stellar action sequences and practical explosions and practical stuff going on. If you want that type of movie, this movie delivers. It has a sense of humor, but again, doesn't become a parody every 5 minutes and gets annoying or irritating. It treats itself serious enough to make you get into the story. And again, the action scenes and the way the lava looks, it all looks really good. Really fucking good. W is for Watchers 2. I like the film. It's a direct-to-video film, but I got Mark Senior, the Beastmaster, with a shotgun shooting the shit out of a creature. It's a film I remember watching a lot when I was a kid. I'm so happy that it got a Blu-ray and a cleaned up picture quality. Never thought that would happen. It's one of the last things Dream Factory did that I thought was great. So I at least give him credit. Gotta give him credit for that. It's Mark Senior being a badass. I always like this idea of a person and their dog, and the dog has a telepathic link to the monster. Yes, it's low budget, so it has its shortcomings because of that, whether it be the creature design, whether it's not the most action-packed movie. But I like Mark Senior, I like Tracy Stadions, and there's enough little moments here and there that I like that makes it an enjoyable experience for me. X, honestly, I had a hard time to choose because not a lot of movies start with the letter X and not porn. But I put Triple X because I actually like Vin Diesel. This is when Vin Diesel was more successful, and I actually liked the first Triple X movie. That's why I was so bummed with the sequels, especially the one where Vin Diesel came back. I like the new take on James Bond. I like the action sequences. I thought Vin Diesel makes for a good action hero. He just needs to pick better projects. And not shit like Bloodshot or The Last Witch Hunter. But I like Triple X. I like the style. I like Sam Jackson in the film. I like the stunt work. I like that it's James Bond, but if it was a extreme sports guy. I think it's a gimmick, but it's a fun gimmick. It makes it feel unique. So I still like the first Triple X movie. I actually want to rewatch that again sometime. Because I don't think I have the Blu-ray. I think I just have the DVD. I don't know if the Blu-ray is still in print or not. Y is for Young Guns. Clint Eastwood. Charlie Sheen, I was thinking of The Rookie with him and Clint Eastwood. Charlie Sheen's in it. That'd be cool if Clint Eastwood was in Young Guns. He was like an older mentor. That'd be pretty cool. But Emilio Estevez, Lou Diamond Phillips, Kiefer Sutherland, Charlie Sheen, Dermot Mulroney, Casey Siemaszko. Love the score. Called the MTV Western, fine, but it's my favorite Western. It's the film, really probably the film that introduced me to Westerns. I love the camaraderie of the cast. I love the way they work together. Has a lot of energy to it. The actors have the moments to shine, their personality. Emilio Estevez is having a ball as Billy the Kid. You have the more sensible one in Kiefer Sutherland. You have the Lou Diamond Phillips as Chavez, badass with knives. Dermot Mulroney's a lot of fun. When they get high on the peyote. Why don't they kill us? We're in the spirit world, asshole. They can't see us. Love that movie. And Z, I put Zootopia. I know it might be like, what? It's a very well... I may not be a furry, but I can say at least it's a damn good movie. Because it's got well-developed characters, beautiful animation, pretty decent story, some capable voice acting, including Jason Bateman. And you know what? It's actually one of the better Disney movies out there, and especially animation-wise. There were no agendas, there was no other bullshit going on. It was just telling a good story, and again, with really nicely animated sequences and likable, developed characters. So there you go. So that's my A to Z, from Aliens to Zootopia. This is very interesting. I'd be curious to hear what other people's list would be. Michael CP, Fabio, Michael King, etc. That'd be pretty cool, but thank you once again, John, the Zero Cool, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.